one of the first segments I wanted to talk about was Trajan Langdon and probably what everyone's talking about. Troy Weaver getting let go. I wanted to know, like, what were your initial reactions? Because I know, listening to your podcast, you've been like hinting at it for like two months. Like it could happen. Like, don't be surprised if it happens. Are you surprised that they eventually did it?
No, not at all. I think for me, you obviously figured going through the season down the stretch that there were clearly going to be changes. Gores hinted as such in December when we talked to him. But I think once I wrote the story right before the Spurs game, which was the final game of the year, that it reported that they would be going after a president of basketball operations. That was pretty clear to me there that it was probably the writing was on the wall. It's just very hard to envision somebody coming in here in that role and not wanting to have their own people in here. Mm-hmm. And two, it'd be hard to imagine Troy wanting to work under somebody after running the show himself. So I think that was definitely not a surprise, certainly, but I think they wanted to make sure whoever they hired to make sure that's what they wanted to do. So I think that's why you saw the process drawn out and allowing Trajan to get here and talk with everybody and figure out what he wanted to do.
I almost thought he wasn't going to get hired because it took so long for them to announce it. Because it's just like I get like I
saw a lot of people talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, like I had a conspiracy like with Corey, and he told me, he's like, you can't do your conspiracy anymore, man, because I'm starting to buy it.
What was it? What was your conspiracy?
I thought that they were just gonna pull the let's go get Tim Connolly, kind of like they did let's go get Monty, like they did last year.
Oh, I mean, that's not a bad conspiracy. I will say that I think people just needed to look at the timeline, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was reported on, I think, Thursday before Memorial Day weekend or Friday that he was the likely one to get the job, that he was going to get the job, right?
Yeah.
So then you have Memorial Day weekend. I think people underestimate how like long legal contracts take to get typed up and figured out too.
Mm-hmm.
So you couple that with the long weekend and then him having to get to Detroit. I know he signed on Wednesday. They didn't announce it till Friday, but he was signed on Wednesday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just think there's just like behind the scenes nuance that I don't know what it was that took the press release longer to come out, but he had signed on Wednesday.
Yeah, probably a lot of like you said, paperwork, and then you have to factor in Memorial Day weekend, and people are with their families and stuff like that. I think some people are just kind of pounding the table, like it's like what's taking so long? It's been over a week, but
I also didn't understand that part, because it's like, well, multiple reporters, including myself, like announced that he was getting hired. It felt like people thought that, like, I don't know why it needed an email to make it official, I guess. But I guess, I don't know. I think people just want information.
I don't know. It's just, maybe it's because some NBA teams, like, I'll just use Phoenix, for example. Like,
mm-hmm.
they fired their coach, they hired Budenholzer, and he had a pressure with him, like, 48 hours?
Yeah.
Maybe that's where fans are coming from, and I can understand that. Maybe. But, I mean,
to me, that reads more like they did a little bit, they started talks with that guy a little bit sooner than maybe they let on, but
yeah, I mean, it's a process. I understand it. I could see why some fans get a little bit irritated by it.